Good morning, you super sexy bunch. So I was talking to Dan Bradbury about something very specific. However, this can be, Dan Bradbury, by the way, is my coach, mentor, my business, my friend, friends. And it was very specific. However, it can be related to all aspects of life. It was something that changed my mindset and made me feel better about so many situations in my life. At the end of the day, everybody is going through something, whether it be business, whether it be relationships, whether it be family, whether it be friends, any of the above or more. There's always something in somebody's life that someone's going through. And for this encounter, we're going to talk about business. And if you're not in business, that's okay, because you can relate to your work ethic in terms of skills. So that's where the example is going to come from. So if you're working for somebody, you can say that you've got the skills. Basically, you're an apple tree. You might have a bad harvest, but you can grow more apples. You might have someone steal your apples, or a divorce may take half your apples that the tree gives in that particular harvest. However, there is always going to be another harvest. Why? Because you're the apple tree. You will always produce apples. The apples will keep falling from your tree. And so if we relate this to money, you're the money tree. You're not the apples. You're not the money that comes down. You're the person who produces the results to get the money. And we're talking about self-storage. And we're talking about, oh my God, my new site. What happens if it doesn't do well? What happens if this? What happens if that? And Dan just said to me, guess what? You're the apple tree. If it all goes wrong, worst case scenario, you have now got the skills that it doesn't matter if this one harvest, new site, doesn't go well, because you will have other harvests. Why? Because you're the apple tree. So even if you lose this harvest goes wrong, it's okay, because you, my friend, will have more harvests in your life. Why? Because you develop the skills to produce harvests. You've developed the skills to be the apple tree, the money tree. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the apple tree. Come on, I can take on anything. I was like, oh my God, that gives me so much freedom, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I lose this harvest. If the self-storage facility goes wrong, goes bad, anything happens to it, I have developed the skills, the mindset, the mentorship to go again, to have another harvest, because I'm a goddamn apple tree. And so how can this help you? How can you relate this to your work, your life, your professional life, even your personal life, whatever it may be? So in terms of if you're working for somebody, then what skills have you got that earn the company money? Because it doesn't matter if you lose that job, if you get made redundant, because you've still got the skills, because you're the apple tree that develops those skills, that lays them apples, because of the skills that you've got. So you can always get another job. Because if you imagine, if you lose that job, you lost the harvest. But guess what? Because of the skills you've got, you have now grown a tree. You are now the tree. So you are going to poop out those apples all the time. And the idea is that we skill up all the time. We increase our skills. We get better. We educate ourselves. And what happens when we do that? We grow more trees, baby. And then, yes, if one tree gets chopped down, we still got other trees. We insulate ourselves. I hope I've portrayed this well enough, because when Dan said that to me, it just made me feel better. It made me feel better about everything. And by the way, you always think about the downside to any investment that you make. You always start with a risk. Well, I do. Don't know what anybody else does, but I always start with risk first. And so I'm not saying that this site is risky. It's not. We've had 4 experts, industry experts, come out and have a look. And they've all said, no brainer, absolutely golden nugget, unbelievable. You're lucky to find this site, etc., etc. I'm not lucky, by the way, hard work. But I always want to be careful about the risk. And I'm very, very mindful about over trading, about going too fast, going too hard. And so I always want advice, because I want to know from people who have been there, seen it, and done it, and made the mistakes, so I don't have to make mistakes. So I'm massive into mentorship. And when Dan said that to me, it just made me more confident, and I can go for it. Because even if, by the way, this site doesn't do as well as I thought, I've got 4 other sites to carry it, which is more than enough. Anyway, so remember, you're the apple tree, my friends. Your skills that you have developed have made you the apple tree. You are in control, nobody else. You may lose one harvest. It may be, what does he say? It may be a divorce. Somebody may take half of your apples. It may be a bad investment. It may be you lose your job. It may be you get made redundant. But remember, you can have a bad harvest, but you can always grow more apples. I love this, my friends. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow.